All right, guys, how's everybody doing today? It's 7 o'clock. I'm not going to waste any time. So we're just going to get started. All right. Thank you guys for coming again. It's not mandatory if you guys are here, but what I wanted to do really quickly is I wanted to go over the test. Okay. So let me pull up this test really quickly. All right. Okay, I've got my answer key here. Good. We're good to go. Let me pull up this one. All right. So here we go. Where's my, okay, as you can see, my pug is wanting to get the attention. So pardon her. Come here, knucklehead. Okay, go. All right, so, okay, as you guys can see, okay, all right, go away. All right, as you guys can see, go. Okay, as you guys can see that, so the first one, consider the following array list of the segments. Okay, towns, array list, et cetera, et cetera. So town, k equals 1, k is less than towns dot size, k plus plus, this line towns dot get k plus space. Okay, so this one everybody pretty much got right because you're starting, this one was just more testing that you understood that the array list worked just as indexes. I believe everyone got this one right. Okay, so this is the one that a lot of people got wrong. Okay, because you guys went too fast. You notice that the semicolon is right, or that the comma is right there. I had many people choose C, Baltimore, Bethesda, Wheaton, Greenbelt, and Rockville. What they forgot is this comma still counts. The comma after Rockville. So I had a lot of people choose C when it should have been D. I think all three of you in this room did that, which tells me you went too fast. Okay. Yes, Lance, you did it too. Okay, what? I know 100%, Lance, you did it. Okay?
What?
100%. Logan didn't do it. You did do it.
I did. I'm pretty sure I didn't do that.
So, well, one of you did. Well, Logan, was it you?
I think it was me.
Oh, okay, it was one of you. So, but that one, you got to look at it this way. That's a loss of easy points. It's a loss of easy points. Okay, I put that there on purpose, one with the parenthesis and one without the parenthesis. Okay. All right, 3. Consider the following code array list. Okay, so int k equals 0. So this is something, this one is just basically list.add 0 number, the list to what is the result of the consider the following code segment. So k to 20. So basically what this did was, what did it do, guys?
It put the array backwards.
It just put the array backwards in. Okay, that's it.
Wait, I had a question on this one.
Yes.
So for like the for each loops.
Yes.
The variable, like the int number here.
Yeah.
How come like the int works whenever it's like an integer object?
Because the values, it's just like with a string. Integers, you can actually int number when it's compared to the value of an integer will work. You used to have to say int like number.to num value, but I went over that and I told you guys that integers as a wrapper class act as numerical integers. Okay, the loophole that I threw here was this one, the 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, because I wanted you guys, if you guys remember, I told you guys that you can add to an array list with a for each loop, where you can't really initialize with the for each loop for a regular array. So you can, but at the end, when everything is all said and done, it would be 0. Okay, consider the following. So what this does is it removes basically every odd array and adds it to the end. Okay, that was basically just finding out what each sequence was, like, or what the salient feature was. Okay, and these last two were kind of just gimmies, I felt. Okay, so we have Dallas, Austin, Austin, Plano, and Austin, Houston, Plano, Austin. Okay, for the most part, everybody did pretty good on the multiple choice. I think the average was like 9 out of 12, which means the average was 1.5 missed questions, which is not bad. Okay, so if I were to count them as single questions, that means 1 If I were to multiply it by 8, that means everybody's getting in the 30s. Now, obviously, that's not realistic. The national average is 20, but you know, it's a good sign for us. Okay. So the FRQ, okay. The FRQ, I gave you the prompt here. Okay. What are the three? So basically what I was looking for was mean, median, or mean, mode, and median. Okay. But this first one was just an easy one. This one was just the create list. Okay. And what this one was more or less doing was it was testing your guys' knowledge on being able to create an array, you know, of objects within a certain range. So I'm going to stop sharing here and I'm going to share my Eclipse real quick because this is how I graded. Okay. So here was, this one was the easiest one. Okay. And this one, but this one was actually worth 3 points. Okay. So I have public, static, array list, integer. So the one thing, so you had to make an array list. Okay. That was number one. You're not given an array list. You have to make one. Okay. It's specifically, so if I go back to the question, let's read the question first. Okay. So part A says, write the create list method, which constructs an array list object. So right off the bat, it tells you what you need to do. Generates a set of random integers in the 10 to 99 range, stores the integers in the array list objects, and returns the array list object. Okay. So let's look at the preconditions. We know that n is going to be greater than 0. So we know our list is going to be at least 1 or more. Then we know that it returns an array list with n integer values. So this was something also that a few people did, which I don't understand. Nobody in this class. So, well, I don't know. I can't say that. I haven't graded everybody's in this class yet. Okay. But I had some people who did this. Instant penalty. If you did that, that is an instant penalty. What? 2 reasons. One, because you're capping the data. Theoretically, while theoretically that would work, okay, you're still setting a cap on an uncapped. If I wanted to use it somewhere else and increase that array list somewhere else, I no longer can. Okay. Number 2, I've told you the AP only works with uncapped array list integers. You don't put anything in there anyway. Okay. So if you did that, that was an instant half-point penalty. All right. I went over that numerous times. The AP does not do that. So why would I give you one that does it? Okay. Now, then just a simple for loop. Okay. Now you could have done a for each loop, would have worked as well. That's fine. But in this case, you would have actually needed a for loop. For and j equals 0. J is less than n. And the reason why, because n is going to determine how many variables we're putting in, j plus plus. X dot add int. I had a lot of people that put times 89 plus 10. Okay. That's wrong. Okay. That gives me 90. That would only give me up to 98. Okay. You needed 90, which would give you 89. All right. And the way that it works is you got a full point for constructing the object. I can't tell how many times have I told you guys, you need to know how to do this. Okay. All right. You got half a point for the equation. You got a full point for the equation, for correctly putting the equation and adding it. So it was like, so here's the problem. You get half the point for adding and half the point for the correct equation, but it's not half and half. It's all tied together. So this is an all or nothing point. And then last, the X is if you return the correct array. Now, let's say you did 89 here. You can be penalized this point and still return the correct array. All right. But if you just put a return statement, that doesn't work. Okay. You get no points for that at all. All right. Now let's go back to Eclipse. Okay. So that was just for creating lists. So the next one was, okay, write the get mean, which is described as followed. Method get mean returns the average called the mean of a set of numbers. So all you're doing, guys, this was the easy one. Part 1 was worth 3 points. This one was only worth 2. Okay. It's called the mean of a set of numbers. The mean is computed by adding the numbers and dividing us by the quantity of the numbers. I think that's just a typo on my part. Okay, on my part. Fart. Okay. So 10, 18, 17 is 15. 10 and 15 would be 12.5. What does the 12.5 tell you? That we're working with doubles. Okay. I have a double right here also. All right. So that being said, all right, I go back. So here's this one. Okay. So again, as I told you guys, this one was only worth 2 points, right? You needed to create a double, you needed to create a summation variable for integer p list, or if you said in j is equal to 0, j is less than list dot size j plus plus. Okay. Num plus equals p. All right. You would have had to say num plus equals p dot get j if you used a for loop. You would have to use the dot get method to get the value of it. Okay. Then return num divided by list dot size. Num is already a double, so you don't have to worry about casting it. And there you go.
Do
Okay.
you need the parentheses around num?
Where?
Between return and num.
Oh, no, not really. I don't know why I put those there. There you go. Either one works. That's fine. Okay. And then the last one. Okay. So this is the one that where, you know, most people got this one right. Okay. It was more finding. So I gave you credit. Okay. Now, so the right median get right method get median, which describes follow method get median. Oops, I'm not sharing it. Sorry. Okay. Method get median returns a measure called the median of a set of n numbers. The median is the middle number in a sorted list of numbers. I cut you some slack. If you used collections.sort, okay, if you used collections.sort, I gave you credit. But on the AP, if they say something like, you may call method sort list specified below, use that method, okay? If they say that on the AP, if you say collections.sort, you're fine. But if they say something like use this, use it, okay? So if n is even, so the median numbers are, so for example, if you had odd numbers, odd that I'm going to do that, I'm not going to flip you guys off. Okay, so 3 numbers, this one would be the median. Okay, but if you had 4 numbers, you would take these 2, add them together, and divide them by 2. Okay, so these are all examples, okay, of what would happen. All right, so basically that's what we needed to do. The first thing you needed to do was you needed to sort. Then you need to determine the list, the size of the list. If it's odd, cake, done. You just get the number, okay? If it's even, you had to do a little bit more. So this was the way that I wrote it. Okay, here we go. Oh, there we go. So this was it, okay? Take a look. Whoops, no, where is it? Here we go. All right, so this is it. Okay, so I did collections.sort list or sort list. If you did either one of those, it's the first thing you're supposed to do. It tells you to do it. You got a point. Okay, then determine the size. So if list.size modular 2. So what I did is I went with the evens first. If it was an even, I just did a return. I don't even technically need an else. I could even just go like this. I could technically just do this. Technically just do that because it's going to return one of the 2. So first thing I do is I check to see if it's even. If it's even, okay, I do list.get size. So this will get, so for example, let's say you have 6. So this is going to get index 3, okay? 0, 1, 2, 3. Technically the 4th number. I need this number. So I'm going to get this number and this number minus 1. So that gives me the middle 2. I add them together here. And then I divide it by 2. I return that. Okay. Otherwise, if it's 5, what's 5 divided by 2? 2. 0, 1, 2. What's 7 divided by 2? 4. 0, 1, 2, 3. Or what's 0 divided by 2? 3. 0, 1, 2, 3. The 4th number would be that middle number. Okay. Due to truncation. All right. So that is the answer. So they were tied together though. So this was worth a point. This was worth a point. Okay. These 2 are tied together. You must have the correct algorithm and return it. Okay. Same thing for here, for the other one. You must have the same algorithm and return it. Okay. Those 2 were tied together. The only way you could have gotten any like partial points would be if you knew this. Okay. So as you can see, pretty fair, right? How many of you guys spent about 15 minutes on the multiple choice? Who spent longer? Okay. Now this one would be considered to be about a intermediate difficult question because of the 3 parts. Okay. How many of you thought that this was actually easy? How many of you thought A and B were easy? Okay. The key thing that I'm seeing right now when I'm going through all of these, the key thing that I'm looking at in particular is that what you guys are doing is you're not looking at, what's it called? You're not understanding what the question is asking. Okay. That's the key thing. Generally, when I see that, that tells me right off the bat, I know for a fact that even in mathematics, you're probably good if you see the equation, but you're not good if it's written in words. You're not good at word problems. Okay. That's going to kill you on the AP. That's what this is. That's why the FRQ is 4 questions. You need to start practicing. One of the things that I could tell you is probably start to pseudocode. Write it out in regular words, take a step back, see if what you wrote down even makes sense to you. And then if it does, kind of start outlining the codes that you think you're going to need to know. 9 times out of 10 on 2 of the free response questions, it's going to involve you figuring out a simple algorithm. Okay. And that's it. Okay. So that is what I wanted to go over for class today. Okay. So that being said, does anybody have any questions? Okay. All right. How many of you felt that was a fair exam?
I do have a question.
Yeah. What's up, Lance?
Are we expecting like our grades to come out like Monday, this weekend, or what?
Oh, by tomorrow. I'm halfway done. So I finished C block. So I finished C block last night. Okay. So, but just had a long line today, 3 hours. So long line. So I'm a little behind, but I'm going to get caught up because I also got to remember that the mid-quarter ends tomorrow. So I'm going to have all your assignments in. You'll know exactly what you have by tomorrow. Okay. And not to mention that I'm going to be sending this report back to you. So if you see the report, but your grade's not in Portal, it will be soon. Okay. All right. Any questions, guys? So overall, I thought I haven't seen B period. C block averaged, I think, about 17.5 out of 21. Okay. But we only had 1 perfect score on the multiple choice in C block. We had 4 perfect scores in B block. Okay. So Lance and Logan, you were not one of them. Okay. Will, you missed it by 1. Okay. But Will, you're making beginner mistakes on your free response. And it's not even like there actually is no excuse. Like you're not using compound operators. Like you're not even doing plus equals. You're doing equals plus. You're like, you've got to review. I left you a note in your grade book. You've got to review 1 through 10. Okay. Or you stand no chance on the AP. Just as blunt as I can tell you. Okay. And it's not putting you on the spot. You've got to get better at the basics. Pseudocode. Am I right? Do you struggle with word problems in math?
Oh yeah, that's like my major problem.
So, and that's why you did fine on the multiple choice. But like, if you think you're going to pass the AP, you basically need to get a 38 out of 40 on the multiple choice. You're not going to do that. If the national average is 20, you're like right now, you're not counting the anxiety and all that stuff or whatever. You might get 25, 26. You still got to get 14 points on the free response. Okay. So you've got to just practice. I mean, I wouldn't even practice coding. I mean, your dad's a math teacher. I would just read questions and say, and your dad doesn't even need code. Go over it with your dad and just say, am I getting it correct what this is asking? You don't even need to code, because if you can at least get that part, that's 50% of the problem. Okay, the question said this, am I right? And your dad can go, no, not at all. Or you're close and start helping you with the algorithms and kind of like reading between the lines. Okay, this question actually wants you to do this. But you're not looking at like key things, like for example, constructs an object. It's telling you you need to construct an object. You can pretty much assume that's probably going to be worth a point, like an array list. You didn't do that. So those are the things like like pseudocode, write down, okay, it wants me, these are the things that I think it wants me to do. This, this, and this. Okay. Then if that makes sense, then you can get into the algorithm portion. Because maybe if you can at least construct it, you'll get 2-3 points right there. Okay. Per section. If it's split into, then you can go with the algorithms for the rest of the other points. But you got to focus, you got to practice, practice, practice. Again, right now, I could give 2 craps about the code. Figure out what the question is asked. That's it. And you got your dad there. Hey, Dad, I'm taking a look at this question. Can you tell me if I'm right or wrong that what you think this question is asking me to do? Okay.
Should I go on like coding bat for the questions or something?
I mean,
like
even
that?
coding bad, you can just ask your dad, like, take a look, Dad. Don't tell me. Just take a look at this one. Tell me what you think it does. I'm going to write down what I think it does. And then your dad can be like, okay, no, what it's actually having you to do is this. And it's almost like brute force. I really mean it. Like, there's only so many ways that we can ask a programming question until they all seem similar. You're at the baby steps. You've got to put a little bit more work in so that your knowledge base, your memory bank can start building and building and building. But if you're going to stand a chance, you got to start doing that now. Okay. And review. And I'm not even meaning this as an insult. Okay. There's people in the same boat as you. Review chapters 1 through 10. Okay. All right. Anybody have any questions, guys? I appreciate you guys coming on at 7. Again, it wasn't mandatory, but I appreciate you guys coming out. I'm going to go try to finish them up. And again, at the latest, tomorrow you'll have them. Okay. Why, Lance, are you worried about how you did?
I mean, I kind of know how I did.
Did you not do well on the free response?
No, the free response, from like what I saw, I missed about like half a point. I feel like the other, like on like the one with the double, I didn't get it. It was a double. It's more than multiple choice. I like that each worth 2 points.
I know I do that, but I do that on purpose to slow you down.
Yeah, it doesn't help.
Remember, you get 2.5 minutes per question. Use them.
I do use them.
Oh, geez. Okay. All right. Good job, guys. I'm going to put this recording up, even though it has the questions for the test. Everybody has taken the exam, so we should be good. Okay. All right, guys. Bye, guys.
Thank you.